Hello everyone, I am Maria. Welcome members of Engage with Tech Market Analysts Silicon Valley, California, New York, London, Edinburgh, Bangalore. As you know, blockchain is distributed ledger-based technology, which runs on distributed system based on mesh of decentralized applications. So today's webinar topic is decentralized apps. Emerging disruptions by DApps, emerging market potentials in DApps and GTM strategy. Presenting analyst is Sumant Parimal, partner and chief analyst of 5 Jewels Research at Augur and Stark Consulting Services Inc. Over to you, Sumant.
Welcome members. Welcome to webinar on apps, DApps. So today webinar is going to be telecasted in other areas also, Silicon Valley, California, New York, and then Edinburgh and Bangalore. So welcome once again to this webinar. So DApps is now emerging very fast. Most of you, if at all you are attached to the app world, most of you till this point of time working on the enterprise app, which are typically centralized in nature. But DApps is like biggest disruption happening in the application landscape. So let me introduce you to DApp, and then we will further take you to how what kind of tractions are happening in decentralized application space, what are the opportunity, and how to track various DApps in the various platforms. So we will go one by one in our presentation. At any point of time, if you have a question, you can ping me. There is a chat window. There you can ping for your question. Or end of the presentation, my mail ID is there. You can touch base with me on that also. Apart from that, there is a structured conversation at the end of this presentation. You can ask your question at that time also. So let me define here from analyst perspective how you can say that this is a decentralized app. So decentralized app that runs on a blockchain platform such as Ethereum, Qtum, Neo. So these platforms are the foundations of blockchain, providing the technology protocols and a computer network. So essentially, the blockchain is the foundation stone for the DApps. So above blockchain platform only these DApps are deployed. So like in a traditional application, enterprise application, you have the operating system on which you deploy your and servers on which you deploy your app. Similarly, here the blockchain platforms such as Ethereum or Bitcoin, they are, or Qtm or Neo, they are the platform on which the distributed applications are built and deployed. So if you are a developer in app world, you should know which all options are available for you for your development of your apps. Development as well as the deployment. So these platforms are foundation of blockchain, providing the technology, protocols, and computer network. So DApps are not owned by anyone, can't be shut down, can't have downtime, because distributed apps are actually going to be infinite, ideally infinite, across the world, across the globe. And so it's like every DApp is like representing one node, and each and every transaction is getting mapped in the concerned network. So that means at a time, all nodes can't be shut down, because these nodes are not under the control of any administrator kind of role. Or so what it means that every time 24/7 and every day these some of the or most of the nodes are remain running, and if at all problems are there in 1 and 2 nodes, that particular node will be shut down, but not the entire ecosystem will be shut down. And nobody will know that even at some point of time a node is under shutdown, because the users won't be getting impacted due to shutdown of even 1 and 2 nodes, because the users having the access of the relevant information residing on the other DApps nodes because which are running. So, further, if you are a developer, then an app developer, then please note that in order to make your DApp work, these are the 4, or even it is even to define it as DApp, it should satisfy the following 4 main criteria. Your DApp should be open source code based. That means whatever the development you are doing for your distributed app, it need to be accessible to whoever belongs to your community or the developer community, and all over the world, around the world. And then further, these decentralized application protocol is governed by consensus. So I'll come to the consensus point later, that is also one of the criteria of DApps, that your DApps should run on the consensus platform. That is consensus governed model. Typical traditional admin model where you have a lot of policy, lot of you kind of delete some data, your own policy or your own admin rights. Those things are going to be not applicable here in the distributed applications, decentralized applications. Now, decentralization is another theme on which your application can be called or categorized as DApps. So if you are building or developing a DApp application, the decentralization would be there in the core of the architecture. So DApps runs on blockchain or blockchain-like cryptographic technology networks that have no central servers or network hierarchy, and all nodes are essentially equal. This decentralized public ledger must be accessible to all participating nodes on the DApps. So there is no server here, no central server here. There is no database server here. Every node having their own distributed database. So all transactions are getting replicated at millions and millions of nodes. They will have their own inbuilt database. So when we see in further slides how the architecture looks like, then we will understand how the data are distributed in or through the public ledger, distributed ledgers. So next parameter for an app to be called DApp is incentive. So in right now, incentive was not a criteria earlier in any of the apps. So some of the platform builders, like if you say Flipkart.com, they used to offer incentives to their clients or their customers for signing up to their platform. But that was not essentially that was a business model which was offering the incentive. It was not the app which was offering the incentive, and that's not a criteria. Incentive was not a criteria for developing an app. But in the distributed app model, what's happening that you need to have incentive, otherwise you won't be operating into that ecosystem. So what I mean by incentive here. So app has a crypto token, digital assets for fueling itself. These tokens being a store of some value becomes the appropriate reward for participating in DApp network. So tokens you have to assign for each and every participants into your ecosystem. So these tokens will have certain value. Either it represents some digital asset, or it may represent some cryptocurrencies also. So these values may not be directly monetary value like USD or Bitcoin kind of value, but it may be like if some person is or somebody is solving some task by participating in your token oriented DApp network. That means that person or that particular enterprise is seeing value in your application. So that value allocation happens through tokens. So tokens you have to give, and you have to incentivize your network members through tokens. Now, next critical characteristics is going to be algorithm or protocol. So, all these, as like I said, these DApps need to generate the tokens and has inbuilt consensus mechanism. So, to reach a consensus, DApp employs its own consensus algorithms and protocols such as proof of work, proof of stake, or delegated proof of stake. So, there are various algorithms, mechanisms available which have been used by the DApps for self control, or you can say autonomous control governance of the entire DApp ecosystem, or you can say entire blockchain ecosystem on which the DApps are operating. So hopefully, in nutshell, this is the definition. If at all, first time you are kind of listening to or exposing to DApp environment, I'm sure, and if you are already a regular developer of DApp, you may have your own view, you may have your own perspective, what the DApp means to. Now, coming to the next slide, as I said, the next slides we will give a view on the various architectures. So this is one view of architecture of DApp. It's basically relying on the blockchain infrastructure. So in blockchain infrastructure, then you have messaging platform called Swarm, and you have Whisper. These are like the storing platforms, distributed storing platforms. And then based on these infrastructure, which can be as a traditional application, you call it front end and back end. Similarly, here also you can call the backend side, and the front end side is like very light browser which may be running on the HTML or some kind of CSS course. Then you have the distributed users. So next view. So next view of the architecture is. So this one I was telling you, if you see this architectural view of the DApp, your data center itself will become redundant. Right now the enterprises are investing heavily in the data center. So now data won't be residing in centralized server. There won't be any RDBMS running in the centralized server. So all Oracle instances running in your data center will become redundant because the DApps are still in the very initial phase. Once in its implementation pickups in next 1 and 2 years, you'll see massive the deployment, whatever the deployment you are doing right now or you have already deployed, they are going to become obsolete. So if you are going to work on any solution or any project where you are working on a large data center or large RDBMS, centralized RDBMS, then you have to think that coming future is of the DApps. If the DApps is the future, then how much, till what point of time it is justified to invest heavily in your the traditional client server architecture, which comprises of data center, centralized data center, or centralized RDBMS. So if you see the DApp architecture here, some kind of smart devices are directly communicating with each other. So these are all nodes. So if one node is communicating through ISP to the other node, then it is like very equivalent to peer-to-peer communication. So ultimately we are moving into a distributed computing world, or the world where peer-to-peer communication happens. There won't be any centralized authority to control the communication. So this is another fundamental difference between the traditional apps and the apps. Now there is one more architecture view I want to present to you. So this is essentially same thing, like I was discussing about Tron, discussing about the Whisper, and then I was discussing about the Ethereum. So Ethereum is a platform for your business logic. This business logic may be your contracts, the smart contracts, and then these smart contracts only allocates the tokens. and then Swan is like the Swan is like file storage, and then Whisper is like the communication environment. So overall, these three elements are, you can call it a backend. In front end, you have the DApp front ends like browser, DApp browser, D browser. These are like lightweight browser, either utilizing the HTML codes, or the JavaScript, or CSS or QML scripts. So there are various scripting language which can be used for designing the front end in dApps, but essentially in the back end it runs on the Ethereum, which also deploy the blockchain technology, and then it runs on for the file saving, file storage. It takes use of the Swan protocol, and then Whisper is for the communication there. So Ethereum is for decentralized contracts, Swan is for decentralized storage, and Whisper for decentralized messaging. So entire messaging platform. So you traditionally in the enterprise architecture, you must have seen the ESB kind of buses for messaging. So here, instead of ESB, you are using Whisper. Now I'm going to the next slide. Here are some of the DApp predictions. This market is evolving very fast. Still last year, there was no much insight about the DApp market, which is centralized application market. But year 27, towards end of year 2017 and towards this year, we have seen a lot of traction in the deployment of the various distributed decentralized application on the blockchain infrastructure. So what are the predictions? Let me first give you the general predictions. These general predictions are not only if you are evaluating the DApp, or if you are interested in DApp, but this is the general. Even if you are a platform guy, you should listen to this prediction very carefully. In my earlier presentation and webinar, I kind of presented these first predictions earlier also, but now I'm repeating it. So what are the industry predictions? Decentralization through blockchain will destroy the centralized platform business models. So this is the big thing. So if the players like Airbnb.com, or players like say Alibaba.com, or players like eBay.com, if they have to understand this particular industry prediction, that means it is a threat to their core business model. So however, initial resistance from platform-based ecosystem for decentralization. I'm sure I remain interacting with many platform-based vendors. Many of them, 90-95% of them, they are not bothered about what else the blockchain is happening. They may not be even aware that one day this blockchain technology is going to kill their platforms. They are just so busy in doing transactions and increasing their sales and revenue, and adding more and more customers, adding more and more users on their portals. Then I don't think that many of them are aware of these kind of predictions. And this is true. This is going to happen. You will already seeing that the distributed system, decentralized systems are getting into mainstream applications. Daily new apps are getting launched. The DApps are getting launched, which are threatening or which are disrupting the very bigger player. Though they have not become in a bigger size. That's why the region is still, you are seeing Airbnb.com is functioning in the centralized platform model, or even say eBay is working in the existing model. But the day these new startups are going to build a site, and they will certainly disrupt the older players. The older players, those who are not even listening to the latest changes happening in the technology. So what are the opportunity if you are a startup? So I'm not talking about opportunity here for the well-established players, because they are just into their own momentum. They don't want to listen anything changes are happening, because they are very good earnings, they are very good books of accounts. Why they should listen to the and whenever disruption will actually impact, will then they only listen. So these particular predictions are only for this. Mostly for the startups or those who are actually new into the technology world. And so the emergence of decentralized applications using blockchain to catalyze market disruptions, blockchain technology to undercut the competitive advantages of platform. So invent business model for decentralized economy. So if you are an entrepreneur, you're an app developer, so you should think that how you're going to use the DApps to disrupt the existing bigger players, platform players. And if you are at all not targeting distributions of the existing established player, then what are the newer things you can do? So here are some of the GTM guidance for you. The GTM guidance here is decentralized startups are emerging by leveraging blockchain-based trust and identity and building their business models on convergence of blockchain, IoT, and AI. So CBIA, convergence of blockchain, IoT, and AI, that's the biggest happening thing. So you should not only focus on blockchain, you should not only focus on IoT, you should not focus on only AI, but you should focus on the intersection point or convergence point of these all three emerging technologies. So if your product or your new launch is missing any of these three components, that means you are not fully or 100% capturing the potentials, or you are not actually aligning with the exact focal point. So my GTM guidance is here that even if you are doing the blockchain project, remember how to marry it with the IoT, how to marry it with artificial intelligence and machine learning kind of environment. So that's the one GTM guidance which is very important. So entrepreneurs early plan to invest into platform-based business models should have really look to opportunities, new business models for being offered by DApps and CBIA. So here the role of analyst comes in order to spot a new emerging opportunity. So next prediction: DApps are going to be engine of decentralization. Everything that can be decentralized will be decentralized. I mean, you just wait for some time. The decentralization is going to happen wherever it is possible, technically possible, or possible through the through the ecosystem. So DApps will, what are the opportunity? DApps will someday surpass the world's largest software corporations in utility, user bases, and network valuation due to their superior incentivization structures, flexibility, transparency, resiliency, and distributed nature. So you forget one day the cluster of DApp applications are going to defeat Oracle or SAP kind of world if at all they are not evolving or they are not catching with the blockchain waves. So what are the guidance here? GTM guidance here is that now launching your DApp may not require institutional investors, and which is to fund its development. You can create value through your own tokens and start offering this token through the ICO listings to crowdsource your development cost. Traditionally, if you are an analytics company, or if you are a big data analytics company, or even a mobile tech company or fintech company, you look for the VC funding. So in distributed app environment, what happened that there is an ecosystem created around with the cryptocurrency, where you don't need to approach the VCs. Rather, the formal approach to VC routes actually vanish here. You just design your value framework in your DApp and start offering the tokens. So these tokens are nothing but some kind of value offering, and these tokens will be listed as initial coin offering. So you list in the various ICO portals you have, where DApps are getting listed, they are getting tokens are getting traded. So those through that listing and through that trading, this trading maybe in cryptocurrency, or it may be in the Bitcoin, or maybe other cryptocurrency, or it may be in the other cash form like USD. So it all depends, what kind of offering, ICO offering you are bringing in market. So that means the crowdsourcing is the model here for for funding your application development. Okay, so that is the big difference here. You won't be going, and your fate is not dependent on on the VC funding anymore, right? So you're going to use the power of crowdsourcing. So next prediction is through DApps, data shall be made assets to its generator. So right now, what happening in Facebook, you see the recent example of Facebook data getting leaked by Cambridge Analytica. So what happened? They did not generate any data. The data been generated by the users of the Facebook. They uploaded their picture, they uploaded their experience, they uploaded their location. Now these data free of cost being used by Facebook, and further it unethically leaked by Cambridge Analytics for analyzing various things like voter orientations. So now this no longer now the enterprises or these kind of platform like Facebook, they are investing millions and millions of dollars into data protection or data policy or data governance. I think with the blockchain technology, you don't need even that kind of heavy investment to the data protection, because data will become the responsibility of its generator. So right now, data will be a revenue earner for its generator. So I am a user in the Facebook. Today, I don't own the data. My data lies in the Facebook, and Facebook earns out of the data. That will no longer happen. So if I am a generator of data and in distributed app environment, then I am going to sell my data to the interested parties. So now my data will start fetching revenue to me. So this GTM guidance is here. If you are generating data for your node, then you are going to be owner of that data content, and you can design your own incentives or monetization program for making other nodes of P2P ecosystem to use your data. So you are the owner, as well as you start generating the revenue out of your own data. You don't become a kind of servant to the big platform owners. So if you see which is the most successful platform for the DApps, so it's Ethereum platform, which is the most successful. Most of the DApps are getting on launch on the Ethereum platform. If you see the Bitcoin, the Bitcoin, the entire the Bitcoin platform is typically for the cryptocurrency exchange, but the Ethereum platform is typically designed for the smart contract or business layer kind of schemes. So that's the reason the Ethereum has become a default platform of its choice. But many DApps owners they are developing their own platform, their own network protocol, their own ecosystems. So depending on how big project you are launching, if you are launching only one single DApps, then definitely you are not going to start your own platform. You may be either going to the Ethereum or maybe other platforms I discussed in my previous slides. So if you see, even in the Ethereum platform, maximum apps are coming for the gaming industry. So gaming, these are the gaming apps. So gaming, casinos, and then marketplaces are also picking up, where you sell or you execute some contract. Then other apps can be the ticketing apps. Other app can be some kind of entertainment app. So in nutshell, the gaming app is the main area which is picking up in the DApp space. Next slide. So sorry for the gap. I'm just migrating to the next slide. So I'll give a perspective of what are the leading or key, very popular decentralized apps or platforms and tokens. So these terminologies are sometimes used interchangeably, but essentially you can say Bitcoin is also a distributed application. Theoretically, yes, but ideally it's a platform on which you build your own applications. So the Bitcoin is a P2P secure payment platform. Similarly, Ethereum, you can say it's also an application. there is a decentralized application, but essentially it is a platform on which you build your various types of decentralized application as to solve your own use cases, or you solve your own various business requirements. So these are nothing but the Ethereum is nothing but a platform for flexible smart contracts. Similarly, you see the next DApp is listed here. The Ripple is a global payment with trusted gateways. The Bitcoin Cash is also a DApp for the P2P cash transactions. Similarly, next DApp I have listed is Cardano, the smart contracts that can be regulated for compliances. Then next app I listed is Litecoin, fast, efficient P2P payments. Next DApp I listed is Stellar. This is another global payment distributed decentralized applications. So next app I listed NEO, the smart contract, pay as dividend. So next is EOS. So decentralized operating system, some may call it decentralized operating system also. It runs on, I think it runs on Ethereum. And second is NEM, the smart assets. And most popular, which is like selling like a hotcake in present listings, are CryptoKitties. So CryptoKitties are Ethereum-based DApp, the most successful DApp in today's scenario. And it recently managed to attract 20 million USD in investments. So these investments, as I said, it happened through the token route. So the token they offer through ICO, and the ICO getting subscribed by the general people. So it can say it's some kind of crowdfunding. So if this 12 million USD, some kind of crowdfunding, which this CryptoKitty developers got through the various participants who participates into token trading. So this is how the funds getting generated. Now if these 20 million accumulated funds are getting invested back into the app, that is CryptoKitty app. So that you can imagine, so after a few months, what kind of direction this CryptoKitty app will take further, because they have got the good fund, and they will remain generating further and further fund because their token systems are getting traded. So next slide is about. I just want to give you a look how this is the website DApp Insight. Okay, so www.dappinsight.com. You will see here hundreds and thousands of DApps are listed here. You can have a view of each and every DApps. How many transactions their tokens are done, how many transactions their tokens are done. What are the tokens are getting traded on, the value of the token trades. And then what are the purpose of those DApps? You can see here entire listing. So you see there is some transaction volume total. Total DApp ecosystem value is 18,755 million USD. So you can visit this website and see the portfolio of various DApps which are listed on the Ethereum platform. So this website DApp Insights tracks some of the Ethereum-based DApps, in their website. So similarly, there is a button here. You can submit suppose if you are developing your own DApp, you want to also make it visible into this platform. So you can submit it here. There is submit button here. You can submit your app. Your app also getting listed and tracked here, and maybe you can see it's getting traded, or how the transactions are happening. So I think. So agenda was today to give a very broad overview of the DApp world. I think a lot of further detailings are required if at all you are planning to develop your own DApp application, like how to design it, how to architect it, how to kind of roadmap it, how to launch it, how to identify the value system, that is token system, then how to monetize this token system in the ICO framework. What is the ICO offering you should go for, where you should list the ICO, what is the rate of ICO you should start with, and then the entire trading aspect. So in nutshell, your DApp application is now, it's like a share market. You have the stock market. Similarly, your apps are now stocks. So if you're an app developer, I think it's a good days coming towards you, because your apps are getting traded as a stocks on various platform, the cryptocurrency platform, and you are going to generate revenue, not only through the by offering the value in the application and value to the end user, but also by selling your tokens. So that's a great opportunity for the entrepreneurs and developers, and even for the big corporation, to see the entire emerging ecosystem of a blockchain, and based on blockchain there is the decentralized application environment. So with this, I'm coming towards the end of this presentation. If you have any query, then my mail ID is there, or you can also unmute your mic and ask. We have like another 3-4 minutes remaining, so we can have a question answer if at all, if you want to ask something right now. Otherwise, you can drop me a mail. My mail ID is sumant_parimal@inaugurates.com and sumant@startcsi.com. So any questions so far? So I think the questions are, not coming right now, so that's okay. You can always send me offline. So it's really, really great hosting you people for this webinar, and I really thank for your attention and time for going through this webinar. And I welcome you to interact further. So I think there is a question about what has come. So I think, yeah, I will revert on this particular with my opinion, in a separate thread to you. And thanks for your question. I'll get back to you, after some time. Because this bridge is now going to shut down, so we are stopping this webinar right now here itself. And again, I'd like to thank you for participating in this.